Do you ever feel like your brain is running a marathon, but you're just stuck on the sidelines watching it all go by? You know what I mean, the constant distraction, the inability to focus, or maybe even feeling like your memory is just gone. Yeah, I've been there. And if you're anything like me, it's completely exhausting. But what if I told you that everything you've ever been experiencing could be explained by one simple thing? I've been living with ADHD, and the day I found out was the day everything changed. Let me take you back. Growing up, I was the good kid. You know, the one who seemingly had everything together. I was organized, kept my grades up, did my homework early. I even avoided procrastinating. Life was pretty simple. But then, I left home. When I moved out for college, that's when things started to slip. At first, I just thought I was tired of school. I mean, who wouldn't be? But then it got worse. I started missing classes, waiting until the last minute to do assignments, and just losing all motivation. I couldn't even focus on my schoolwork, but I found myself diving into YouTube for hours. I could sit and watch random stuff for hours, no problem. But when it came to something I actually had to do, my mind would just go blank. I thought I was just lazy. Or maybe it was burnout. But no matter how hard I tried, it wasn't just about being tired. Something else was going on. So I took a gap year to give YouTube a shot. It was doing really well, so I convinced my parents it would be fine. But surprise, being my own boss didn't magically solve everything. It just gave me even more tasks to juggle. And guess what? I couldn't focus. I tried to sit down and work, but every time I did, it felt like my brain was trying to fight me. The distractions, the sudden new interests. I could never get anything done. Then I got a text from my brother. Hey, I was diagnosed with ADHD. At first I thought, good for you. It wasn't exactly what people would call the stereotypical hyperactive ADHD kid. So I was surprised. But as he described it, things started clicking. I realized, wait a second, this sounds a lot like me. So what did I do? Nothing. I just kept pushing it off, thinking, it's just laziness. Right, I can fix this myself. But the thought lingered. A year passed, and my productivity was still a disaster. I couldn't concentrate to save my life. So I finally thought, maybe I should get tested. It took me months to actually make the appointment to classic ADHD move, right? But when I finally went, I sat with a psychologist who asked me the usual questions. Do you have trouble focusing? Does your mind wander? And, of course, I was like, yeah, all the time. Fast forward to diagnosis day, the psychologist looked at me and said, you definitely have ADHD. And autism. Wait, what? I couldn't believe it. I had heard of ADHD, but autism, that was completely new. He explained how ADHD affects me, and why I had been struggling with things I used to do so easily. He gave me this massive report with charts and explanations, and suddenly, everything started to make sense. My memory issues, my inability to stay on task, the constant mental chaos was all tied together. Let me break it down. There are different types of ADHD, hyperactive, inattentive, and combined. I have the inattentive type, which means I struggle with focus, memory, and organization basically. Everything I had been experiencing. But here's the kicker. I always thought I was just being lazy. I was constantly asking myself, why can't I just get my act together? The truth was, I was doing my absolute best, with a brain that wasn't wired the way others were. I even asked my doctor how this was possible. He said that, especially in women, ADHD can present itself later in life, and that hit me hard. All my life, I thought I was normal. And now, I'm just finding out that this whole time I've been struggling with something real. But you know what? Once I got the diagnosis, things started to change. I wasn't angry with myself anymore. I realized I wasn't lazy or unmotivated. I was dealing with something deeper. After getting diagnosed, the doctor recommended medication. I was skeptical. Do I really need this? Will it change who I am? But I decided to give it a shot. I was prescribed a low dose of instant-release Adderall, so I could take it when needed, instead of every single day. Now, let me tell you, I was nervous. What if it changed me? What if I became a different person? I took my first pill, and honestly, it was like flipping a switch. For the first time in years, I could focus. I could think. I didn't have this constant barrage of thoughts making it impossible to get anything done. I sat down and wrote a script for a video in just 3 hours. Normally, that would have taken me 12. It was an absolute game changer. There were no distractions. I even remembered to check my phone messages and didn't get lost in an endless scroll. Isti swatit. It's like for normal people all the time. It was mind. I felt like I had unlocked some kind of superpower. The chaos in my mind was quiet, and I could actually get things done. It felt like I was finally in control again. Now, I'm not saying medication is a magic cure for everything. It's still hard sometimes, and it's not perfect. But understanding that my brain works differently, that has been the biggest relief of all. Here's the takeaway. If you've been struggling with focus, procrastinate, or just feel like your brain is always running in a million different directions, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's just how your brain works. And getting that diagnosis, knowing that you are not broken, can change everything. If you're on the fence about getting diagnosed, I get it. It's scary. It's uncertain. But trust me, having a name for what I was going through has made all the difference for me. It's not a sentence. It's a roadmap to understanding yourself better. And to my fellow ADHD warriors out there, we're in this together. We can't all work the same way, but we can find what works for us. And that in itself is a win. So, if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or frustrated with your own focus, just know there are ways to work through it. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just wired differently. Thanks for hanging out and listening to my story. If you've gone through similar struggles, or if you have any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Catch you in the next one.